Okay, very good. Just briefly, Bernadette, because people will be interested in this. This 3-day program that you do, it sounds incredibly interesting. What kind of people come to you on it? Where is it held? And when is the next one?
Well, what kind of people come to me? I have a huge following, Rory, of nurses. And I believe that's because these women and men are at the coalface and they see what's happening and they come to me to find out that they pass on to their patients little tips about juicing. And what kind of people? All kinds of ages and groups. We have had them from 14 right up to, I think the oldest lady that came was 86. So it's right across the board, all types. It's not just cancer, it's people wanting to lose weight, IBS, all kinds of things, every medical condition you can possibly think. And does it benefit every medical condition? Yes, of course, because if you eat properly, the immune system has a chance to pull itself back. The key to all of this is the immune system. Without the immune system, you'll be dead in 5 minutes. And the immune system, get that back up and running, and now you have a healthy body. So you have to work with it to keep it healthy.
What's your philosophy?
My philosophy is education, big time. I think if people are educated, they blossom. They get more enthusiastic. They begin to unravel a whole mystery around health and what health is. But lack of education is, I see people, when they're not educated about food, they ask you questions like, oh, where will I get my calcium? Where will I get my protein? They don't realise that the body has a very, very minute requirement for proteins. Very small amounts of proteins are necessary, but we're conditioned to think we need vast amounts of protein to survive. We are also conditioned to believe, where will we get calcium? That we have to have dairy products. The elephant doesn't have dairy products and he survives on raw vegetation. He is the largest muscle structure on the planet and survives very nicely on raw vegetation. So education is the key to get rid of all these myths that surround food, and that's what I try and do. I try and educate people. That's been my mission now for the past 11 years, to educate people and give them the help they need that I didn't have, Rory, when I stood in my kitchen and wondered, how am I going to make myself last to raise this child? Julie was 5 the second time I was diagnosed, and I was determined I was going to raise that child.
Very good. Bernadette, you've been there emotionally, psychologically, mentally, whatever word you want to put on it. So you know what people are going through. If there was a woman watching this broadcast now who had been newly diagnosed with a form of cancer, what advice would you give to her?
I would say to her, get yourself educated. Above everything, buy yourself a juicer, get into that. Start to look at the problem that, not just now, but go back a year or two. Are you in a bad relationship? Have you some major stress going on in your work? Things like that. You've got to look at all these factors. So it's not just about food. It's not just about stress. It's a whole approach to the way you live your life, and find the ways to de-stress it and educate yourself about your body. But because that person knows better than anybody. I cannot tell you the amount of people, Rory, that ring me and they say to me, I know when it started. It was when, my husband died. It was when I was separated. I went through a lengthy separation. It's all these things. And they will themselves pinpoint that was when the problem started. So it's a whole approach. You can't do one and forget the other. You have to look at what you're eating. If you're eating, and the food aspect, this is like a car. Your car needs water, petrol and oil. The body has about 24 nutrients that it needs. It's a machine. That machine needs those nutrients. And if you don't supply it, it's going to, kick up and cause a problem further down the line. So it's very, very important to supply the correct nutrients. Nowadays we're living on the foods we like to eat, not the foods that the body needs to survive. So we eat for taste rather than survival. So, it's getting a nice little balance. People often say to me, well, do you eat out? Of course I do, but 99% of the time I eat correctly. And then you can afford to, deviate if you go out and you're not able to eat organic foods and things like that. So, yes, it's possible to live like this and enjoy it. I would not go back if I could.
Bernadette Bohan, thanks for spending time with us.
It's been my pleasure, Rory. Thank you.